We choose the theme of the body because Polla Ardenne is a specialist on the body. He has written very important books about the body. And we made a specific choice tonight to show you videos on the body that are rather on the side of joy than on the side of suffering, although we recognize, and obviously me as a doctor recognize in particular the fact that the body is also a place to suffer. But since we are in Helsinki in Finland and we know that the Finnish soul is absolutely about joy all the time, we thought we need to adapt to the Finnish soul and show rather this side than the side of suffering. And I'm going to hand the microphone to Polla Ardenne, who is going to introduce what we're going to do tonight. I must also say that he actually created the concept which is called corpopoetics, which you find again in some way in that show, Motor Poetics. Poetics is about poetry, but it's also about creating. It's about making. Etymologically, the poiesis is the making. So it's actually creating our own body all the time at the same time as we live in it. Paul, I hand the microphone towards you and thank you very much for being here.
Hello, good evening all. Thank you to be there. Thank you also, Barbara, to be there. I'm very glad to be in Helsinki for the second time and to present this first international speech about Video Forever. So we have chosen the thematics of contemporary corpopoetics in the way of joy, because everybody here is in joy, even the deers on the roads that we met last year with videoist Ali Kazma when we did a long trip through Finland. So yes, I remember all these deers which were laughing at us. They were smiling very, very kindly to us, and I cannot forget that now. Oh, sorry, I am. Oh,
it was winter. And
no, it's emotion. Excuse me, it's because of emotion. So for this first international round of Video Forever, we have indeed chosen the theme of the body. Why is that? The first reason is of biological nature. The body is universal. We have one and only one. And if we have all our intellectual abilities, we are aware of this reality. By definition, to exist is to have a body, and to be is to exist with and within our body. The second reason of this choice is of both ontological and political nature. Ontological first. Any reflection about being, about what we are, about how we are, what we are, necessarily involves the relationship we have with our own body, and beyond that, with the body of other beings. Idealistic philosophy considers the body with contempt and prefers the dematerialized world of essence, while a naturalistic cultural disposition will first consider the body. And second, political. The body is never abstract. It exists as flesh. The body, however, is more than and goes beyond its fleshy reality. It is an interface. This notion of interface is, for me, for you, I imagine, too essential. Acting does not always mean acting for oneself, as if we were an entity, a monad according to the philosopher Leibniz, as if we were an autonomous being who owes nothing to anybody else, nor to the rest of the world. The reality is that by necessity we are indeed social animals, Aristotle, and therefore, if I can say, interfaced, and interfacing too. To live in absolute solitude is sometimes possible, in Finland especially, in the north, in Rovaniemi, close Santa Claus. So, and the deers, the smiling deers too. To live in absolute solitude is sometimes, it's French humor, excuse me. I apologize deeply. Because I feel that it's falling down without an effect. So maybe it's a proof that civilizations are different. But we are in Eurozone here, I believe, yes? As in France, no? But it's different. Humor is different. So excuse me, Barbara.
But I'm outside of your...
No, you are not, I say. Everything is your fault.
Yes.
If we are here, it's your fault. It's not mine. Okay. To live in absolute solitude is sometimes possible, but never in the long term. At some point or another, the need for the other is resented, whatever the appreciation of solitude. We then can feel as much independent as we are, how much dependent we are as well. Furthermore, this tandem of independence and dependence is at the very basis for politics, when understood as the widened government of ourselves. The government of ourselves among the others. And in that perspective, politics being understood as the way to live together, the way to render common life possible or even harmonious. Within this frame, the artistic expression, that is our center of interest here and tonight, exists and defines itself because of this interface I was mentioning before, interface between us and ourselves, between us and the other, and more widely considered, between us and the world. And this, whether we are considering the inhabited, the cosmic, or the symbolic world. While the artists often create in solitude, rarely they create for the solitude, with the solitude as a goal. They actually mostly create for an interlocutor who may be secret, so essential as the interlocutor socialized by his very experience, the creative process and expression. While it has become a widely recognized evidence that the body is always political, is nowadays, it remains more mysterious, however, to understand how the body is political. To understand this how, we have to take into account the state of the reality, the state of common mental atmosphere in which the bodies, plural, move itself or themselves. In that sense, our choice of a happy atmosphere for the video, okay, everybody, etc., okay, tears and smiles and so on. In this sense, our choice for Video Forever of a happy atmosphere for the video about bodies that we will watch together tonight is actually a very political affirmation and even act. We are living in this beginning of the 21st century in a world of complexity which associates progression and regression, especially in France now, which associates progression and regression, emancipation and servitude, polarization, I am from here, from Finland, and globalization, I am from everywhere, I am from the earth. Culturally speaking, we are in a postmodern era, postmoderning being characterized by both a continuous attachment to modernist value, Alvar Aalto, such as movement, change, engagement, and novelty, and the concomitant refusal of authority, ideology, constraint, and collectivism. To those values, postmodernism prefers individualism and hedonism, and to the possibility of similar truths for all as proposed by postmodernism. Postmodernism, as you know, will favor doubt, relativity, and relativism, and oppose each individual opinion and not truth. Furthermore, postmodernism also tends to replace the modernist feeling of eternity by the glory of the very instant, especially tonight. This change in art perception and politics obviously also modulates the artistic and social perception of our body, and the position taken by the artists today are rather questioning a position than affirmative of a point of view. The interface with the other that I mentioned before expresses itself as a constant question rather than an evidence, a position that surely enough generates much uncertainty, but also a very welcome diversity and variety in artistic practices. The artist today, while he works, as always, with and against his own body, I precise, with and against his own body, also works with and against all human bodies who create his social environment. Another point to take into account is about the representation of our bodies. During the 20th century, totalitarian regimes have often favored the ideal body as being healthy, heroic, both natural and strong. But by the end of the 20th century appears another body, less fleshy, less athletic, sometimes pathetic, except here in Finland. Of course, we agree. I mean the post-human body, According to the title Jeffrey Deitch gave to an important exhibition, Post-Human Meaning Engineered by Biotechnology. The post-human representation of the human body conveys the idea that sooner or later the natural body will disappear in favor to the bionic body. The bionic body is the new body, the body of the future, constructed with substances, drugs, prostheses, transplants, implants, machines as like auxiliaries. As stated by the French philosopher Pierre Legendre, maybe you know him, he is not enough well known, I say. Pierre Legendre, in its a statement-like book entitled The Factory of the Occidental Man, the Occidental man is born into a theater that has become highly medical. But things are not as simple, and it's obvious that despite this medical theater, the flesh resists to the machine. Or, better said, the body made of flesh and the machine body enter into productive dialogues, and rather than being in opposition, complete each other, the body today being a novel, homogeneous body, both fleshy and mechanical, without any reciprocal exclusion. As we will see tonight in the video we selected, today's artworks and video in particular about the body resonate with this new perspective, a more aggregative one rather than schizophrenic. The works of various artists, and sometimes of the same artist, and in the case of Ali Kazma, for instance, oscillate between the fleshy and the mechanical model of the body with an astonishing flexibility. So, let's now discover how the selection of artists we propose to you, Barbara and me, tonight, model and modulate our perception of our bodies by their own perception and representations. Thank you very much. And excuse me for my very ugly English speaking. To you now, Barbara.
Okay.
With joy.
With joy, sure. Two interesting things before we start to watch the first video, which is by Vanessa Beecroft. In deciding this choice of, joy, and on the body, two things appeared. First of all, I think for the first time, we have actually more than 50% women artists in a Video Forever. And this is an interesting fact that women tend to work more on body than on other aspects we have been treating in Video Forever. And the second is that it ends up that we're showing a lot of videos about dancing and water. And you will see, for example, the bathhouse, but many other videos in the water about freestyle swimming, etc. And I think there is something about joy that goes together with a feeling of being light. The suffering makes us heavy, the joy makes us light, and when the body is in water, it becomes lighter. And this is something we're going to discuss while we watch the videos. In the glory of the body, we have not included actually sex, except in one case, simulated sex. So this is not because we wanted to be politically correct or whatever, but actually this is how, the selection made itself. And now, Max, please, we're going to start with Vanessa Beecroft. Vanessa Beecroft, yes, you can start, is an artist from Italian origin, now living for a long time in America. And she's using female bodies, not her own body, but the body of girls, to actually make paintings. She considers her performances as live paintings. And here you see a performance that was presented at the Sydney Museum for Contemporary Art. I'm actually gonna, sit like this, if you don't mind, so at the same time, or maybe rather like this, so I can see, if you don't mind, I turn my back towards you. And always including some special aspects of fashion into her performances. And Vanessa Beecroft has been very highly criticized by feminists in the way she uses the female body as a material to paint her live paintings. And you see here the way actually these women that are in her video get bored, and Vanessa gave to the actresses or the performers in her videos a few indications. She says, be still, move naturally, do not move out of place, do not move in real time, use no verbal communication, be detached, be remote, hold position, look plain, boyish, quiet, don't let your mood show, do not laugh, be compact, if you're bored, show it. And I think this concept of being bored is very obvious in this video. The girls get really bored, and Vanessa felt that when the girls get bored, they give the best of themselves in the performances because they don't try anymore to look, pretty or to look at their advantage. This performance, the duration of this performance was 2.5 hours, and after 2.5 hours of standing on these high heels, you get pain and you get bored. You wanted to add something?
Yes, maybe. Thank you. Just one word about the image. Here you see that there is a construction of the image of the body of the female, and each time a body is tiring itself, the image is destroying itself also. And the more and more the image is destroying, the real body, the fleshy body, the human body is reappearing. So it's a very strong lesson about representation and presentation, to be an image and to be there.
Yeah, and I actually had a very strong experience with Vanessa Beecroft. If you can stop here, Max, please, for a little while, thank you. Vanessa Beecroft did a performance with my 4 daughters, and this was the Polla Girls performance, which was then shown in terms of photographs at the Castello di Rivoli in Italy. And my 4 daughters never hated me as much than after that weekend, because actually, you know, they had to pause the all Friday night, the whole Saturday, and the whole Sunday. And Vanessa took the photographs of the Sunday night when they couldn't be anymore. They didn't care anymore at all about their image. They just wanted this to come to an end, and then the image comes back to be a body. And this is really what Vanessa is looking for. And now we're turning to a Finnish artist who's actually with us, Henna-Riikka Halonen. And this is the bathhouse I was mentioning before. And Max, maybe you can start the projection. And I dared myself actually make extracts of this. This is not the whole video, which is also shown in Sydney right now at the Biennale of Sydney with 2 other videos.
Yeah. I don't think this played because the socially engaged art.
It's just not fair.
Yeah, and it doesn't really work. It's not very beautiful.
Yeah. We're working too late.
Yeah, and the light's too bright.
The divers are talent, and we're not going to show off our talent. Yeah, I mean,
I think we're working too late.
we're more divers.
Max? Henna-Riikka is actually graduated with an MFA from Goldsmith. She is obviously Finnish, but she's been away from Finland for a long time. And I love to show this video right after the one by Vanessa, also because of the color, this red, which is very present in both video. Although Henna-Riikka's video has a completely different theme and actually refers to the bathhouse, which is a play by Mayakovsky. And this is a very also futurist, we are back to futurism here. And Henna-Riikka told me before that actually there is a lot of nostalgia in the future, and she tries to combine past and future in the present instant. And we're now going further watch this video, and at the end, if you'd like to comment or to add something, I'd be very happy. And as I mentioned, Henna-Riikka has 3 of her videos in the Biennale of Sydney right now, and should be more known in Finland, as she's already very much known in France. And I just learned that the 2 people that have probably most promoted video in France, which are Isabelle and Jean-Conrad Lemaitre, actually own this very video already for a very long time. So that's one of the most important collections of video in France. So let's continue, watch it, and then we can talk about it further. Max? Here comes the creature of the future in glowing yellow.
maybe you remember the very famous scene by Leni Riefenstahl, the Nazi movie maker, dedicated to the gods of the stadium during the Olympic Games in 1935 in Berlin. And maybe you remember there is a very famous scene with divers. It's like a repetition. It's very defined by the question of energy, of speed, of the ability of the body to be stronger than itself. And what is really different here is the concept of absorption, as say Michael Fried. For instance, absorption is the time that the body is spending with itself. It's not here an image of energy, of force, of volunteer, but it's really something else, deeply, a relation with the body itself, a relation with the water, a relation with the gesture, a relation with the water also, in an amniotic or nearly amniotic consideration. So it's quite different. Here we find a difference between, if we speak in cultural, with cultural references, between maybe modernism and postmodernism. In this way to consider the body.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for the artist, the control of the body is something very important in this video, but I must say that similarly to what Paul just said, we were speaking about that before, the freedom in the water, this feeling of being like in a uterus, being free like pieces. And here the duality, the fact that they, and this is like really a liberation, this is also what you said before, this go.
If I'm going to compare with Leni Riefenstahl divers, there's a difference in the quality of joy, in the quality of the practice. When you see the example given by Riefenstahl, you understand that there is no possible game. Game is never a possibility in the fascist ideology of the body. Here, game is a possibility. Game is present. Also, not only discipline.
Max, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so if you
That would be nice.
Maybe I'll take the microphone.
Yes?
Yeah, take me.
Or maybe I'll sit beside you. For the timing. Thank you for the introduction and for showing these extracts. Yeah, as Barbara mentioned, this is just a part of the video which is 12 minutes long. But I think in this context, as also in relation to body and politics, it's quite important to mention the background of the video, which is it was filmed in the Royal Commonwealth Pool in Edinburgh in 2009, and it was done because of the pool was closing. So I was looking for people using it who were suffering from the closure the most, and sort of wanted to stage this resistance or little protest against the closure. And then I found this play from Mayakovsky from 1929, which featured a time machine, but it was also a really kind of a protest against the Soviet bureaucracy at that time. And then, so I kind of wanted to also work with the divers in a way that to show not only the politics of the kind of changing environment, so how you can actually take control and lose control, and how you position yourself within this change, but also this politics in art between artist and group I was working with, and this idea of control and manipulation. So the way I usually work with actors or groups is the sort of try to find a variety of this the kind of bodily manifestation, so that there's a kind of really obvious controlling, like they are almost used as props or puppets. And there are actually scenes that we don't really see here so much, but where they are really like almost like I have these little threats and I'm just manipulating them. And then also the moments where they stop acting, or where they are in their element, like they are in the water. So, and I also wanted to. The bathhouse from Mayakovsky was staged by Vesevold Meyerhold, a theater director in 1930s, and he was very. He created this acting method called biomechanics. So I also wanted to refer to that because in biomechanics, every movement indicated the next movement, and also that they were like the actors were used almost like an acting machine. So there's not really big distinction between the props or the sets and the actors. So everything becomes like a huge machine. So that's perhaps the.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And you know, this idea that Paul mentioned before, the body between freedom and machine, is very much into your video indeed. Max, I suggest we start to look at Janet Bick's video, and we'll introduce you to Janet's work while we are actually watching it. But let's start now. So frame actually supported in part your video, which also supports this evening. This is the title of Janet Bick's video, Earth Above the Ground. Is an American artist who does essentially video, and she is interested in the extreme. Henrika just mentioned a very important word with respect to the body, which is resistance. You were mentioning resistance, which is actually also the title of the group of videos we're going to see by Ali Kazma. The body resists. And this is also what fascinates Janet Biggs, which shows extreme body actions and also extreme geographical environments. In this case, as you see, it's synchronized swimming. And what's fascinating here is that the control and the freedom are really completely linked. They are not separable. The freedom of being in the water and the absolute control of the movements. And to what does the body resist? This is indeed extremely political. It resists to uniformization. It resists to globalization by affirming itself being, by using techniques and approaches which makes the body absolutely unique. And the swimmer, for example, makes her body absolutely unique by working it up so much that she can do these incredible things with her body, as we saw also before, and we will see also later. You can turn up the music, Max? Thank you.
Up.
Up? Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. What is shown is also the work the body as a working entity. In the classical views of the body, there is always the idea that everything is already done. The perfection is here. It is like a native situation. Or it's easy to see what to live is to do one effort. It's not possible to live without to do effort. And the joy may be here, to be there, to be a body, to incarnate his own, her own body, results of this gesture very specific, which is a mix of, as you said, of control and pleasure, energy and liberation of the energy. Nothing is done in the videos by Janice Biggs. Everybody, every figure that she is presenting is always involved in a, I don't know how to say, in a tentative of record. An effort, to make an effort, but not an ordinary
maximize
effort. Yeah. For instance, in the show Motopoetics in Lyon, I decided to show a very nearly strange video by Jeanette Biggs, which presents the opposite of two situations which are both extreme. The one is a woman on a motorbike on the Salt Lake, and this woman is going faster and faster and faster, a very, very high speed.
She's champion there,
Yeah,
world champion of speed. Yeah.
She's a world champion of speed in her category, and at intervals we see a gospel choir singing with extraordinary fusion with the sacred, singing the greatness of the Lord, and also an extreme situation, which is the one of the face, total face.
Kimbaku. We are going to move to Ali Kazma now, of whom we're going to show 3 videos tonight. You can start, Max, please. And Kimbaku is part of the series of videos that Ali Kazma showed at the Venice Biennale in the Turkish pavilion last year in 2013. And they were actually a series of 13 videos under the general title of Resistance. And among those, there are all these particular practices that people use to reincarnate their body, to appropriate themselves, their body, to feel it under extreme situations such as scarification, for example, such as bodybuilding, such as tattooing, and such as Kimbaku, which is bondage, yes, which is this very traditional Japanese practice, which actually allows the woman or the man who gets the privilege to get bondaged. Yes, I say the privilege because it's actually something that's required, that's asked for. You pay for being bondaged by a master in Kimbaku, and this is one of the greatest Japanese master in Kimbaku, and it's an art like tattooing, like scarification. You know, you can do it badly, but you can do it with maximal art. And part of the art here is that you make sure that there is no alteration in the circulation, in the blood circulation by all this bondage, so that the feelings that in this particular case this woman is going to resent have nothing to do with alteration in the physiology of the body.
Yes, there is also in the bondage, as you know, a kind of very specific experience. It is to endure the situation of not to be free. You know, in our Occidental Western civilization, we are always speaking about freedom, about to be free. We put in a very high level, at a very high level, the myth of Prometheus, for instance, the one who want who try to liberate humanity. But here, it is another experience. It is not the experience to be liberated, but to be unchained. Why? Because maybe the opportunity here at this occasion is given to feel better what is body. Maybe we feel how we are resistant better when we are in ropes than when we are without ropes. It's proposition.
Yes, and certainly in general of our body, we use about 10 to 20% of the possibilities of either perception and action. And only in extreme situation, and this is also why Janet Biggs is interested in extreme situation, then the body expresses completely different amounts of ability of perception. And actually, it's interesting to know, obviously, that this woman pays the master to be able to experience this particular perception. And, you know, this is always a private performance, if you want to call it performance, but both the master and the woman, you know, accepted that Ali Kazma was going to film, and as an acknowledgement to Ali Kazma and his work, the master offered Ali Kazma to offer him bondage for free.
And maybe there is another thing in this video, another idea. It seems to me that this video encapsulates very strongly the idea that to be free is to have the choice not to be free.
The choice of which bonds you want to take with you. And besides that, it's a very, very beautiful video. The framing of each image makes a painting. Look at this gesture, which is like very symbolic, this very light gesture of the master in the hair of the woman. And after Kimbaku, we're going to watch another video by Ali Kazma, which is Robots. You can keep going. Which is Robots, and which brings us back to this idea of the body and the machine, the bionic body that Polla Ardenne was mentioning before, and you know, this relationship of human and machine that Henrika also was mentioning, and which is essential when you actually consider the body of today and tomorrow. And this is filmed in an avant-garde laboratory. The knee and the ankles are among the human articulations, those that are most difficult to modelize. And here actually the robots really concentrate on how you can make a knee functioning and an ankle functioning.
Here we are in front of a double situation. We feel the solitude of the robot, but the existence of the robot is also a kind of homage to humanity, because robot is never an autonomous figure. Always we are creating this figure as an autonomous one, as a phantasm, but it's not the truth. The truth is that to create a double of humanity is something very complex, and we are in front of this real complexity here. The robot is not a metaphor of the disappearance of humanity, but on the contrary, it looks as a possibility to preserve the humanity.
Endless fascination of human beings towards our own body and how we could reproduce it in another way than the natural way that has been given to us. It seems perfect, but this was an essential part of Ali Kazma's videos, the time when the leg actually falls. And the ability to be able to show this part, the defect, is actually maybe what makes the robot the most human, because, you know, we fall, the robot falls, it shouldn't fall. Normally. And now you can continue. We're gonna watch the video of a Swiss videoist, and as you know, I come from Switzerland, and you'll see this video is actually extremely Swiss in many respects. And first of all, by its strangeness, and second, by, you know, the incredible mechanicity. Those are now functioning robots, human beings you don't really know, and the extreme feeling of solitude that you were mentioning before, that I feel is even much more perceptive in this video by Yves Netzhammer than it was in Ali Kazma's video. But the solitude is something that is extremely present in Swiss society and in Swiss art, maybe because, you know, there is this sense of perfection, like everything is perfect, even the planes, you know, are able to fly backwards, and you know, the water is absolutely perfect, but you're gonna see how strong the feeling of solitude actually gets through this video. Yves Netzhammer. Oui.
While you are having a look on this video, I want to introduce you this artist, Yves Netzhammer. So born in 1970, he's living and working in Zurich. He has studied architecture, and he studied in the very, very famous school in Zurich, which is the Hochschule für Gestaltung. Maybe you know this very famous artist of the geometrical abstract, whose name was Max Biel. Max Biel was the founder of this Hochschule für Gestaltung, and it is considered as the new Bauhaus, the second Bauhaus of the history Bauhaus. Yves Netzamer, this artist, is also specialized in blogging. He's editing one journal for art, sex and mathematics on his blog.
And as you know, things actually are or look in Switzerland, you have this type of perfection of the image and the events, and at the same time there is a deep sadness, I feel, when you really sort of look and enter this video. You get this feeling of nostalgia of life that would be more chaotic but more real and less sad, less lonely.
As you feel, I presume, it's not a video about joy here, not especially, but it's a video about the link, the question of the link. It's not possible to live without a link, without to be linked to something. And as you see here, it's like a story, the story of what is doing link, what is linking ourselves to something. Time, occupation, solitude, alcohol. It's a reflection about maybe with modernity what we have lost. With this certitude, we have not once lost ourselves, not yet.
So there is blood in the Swiss hand, but there is also gold. And this idea to put that piece of money in the scar, which should reveal actually the real humanity of that person, is quite astonishing. And one remains alone. The next video we're going to look at is something completely different. It is by Hafiz Quintero, who is a Panamanian artist who actually spent 10 years in jail and became an artist while in jail, thanks to an artist who actually came to work with inmates. And he does these videos that are video performances. So in each video that he describes like haiku, they are very short. It's himself in the video, and in each of the videos he does, 10 videos for the 10 years in jail actually, he shows one specific feeling about jail. And in here it's like a choreography of the body in jail who's looking for the light of the sun. And if you can turn up the sound really to the maximum, because the sound is really interesting here. And again, it's the sound is actually of the, you know, when you try to cut the, please help me in English, when you, the bars, exactly. And any inmate would immediately recognize this. I mean, I haven't been an inmate, but I can hear how harsh this noise, this sound is. And at the same time, you know, the man who's looking for the light looks so soft and content about, you know, these few minutes in his journey, in his day, that he can enjoy sunlight.
Of course, something also is said here about time, about the way we are spending time, and about one essential time here. It's the time of the lack of freedom. It's the time of the necessity to take in the world what is absolutely necessary when it comes. It is also a purpose about the opportunity. To live is always to be in an opportunity. Not to be in an opportunity is not to live. It is to wait to live. It's not the same thing. It's of course a very important question when you are in jail. The question of time, the question of how to spend the time, and why to have to wait too much, so long time.
Yes, in some way, with the question of the time, we come back also to the video of Rika. And you know, this question of the time and the body are intimately linked. And here we skip to another artist who's Sean Gladwell, which has in common with Hafiz Quintero and Ali Kazma that he also was presented at the Venice Biennale, not last year as Hafiz Quintero, who represented Panama in 2013, but in 2009 Sean Gladwell represented Australia at the Venice Biennale. And Sean Gladwell is an artist who really works with machines, with bikes, with skates. He's a champion of dance skating, and his body, he works it out like a machine, and constantly. He was in a show recently that Polla Ardenne presented in Paris, and getting back on the metro from the show, he actually hanged himself on the ceiling of the metro with his feet and got photographs of him, and the people in the metro were quite astonished. But he is one of these artists who actually puts himself in his video and his performances, similarly as Hafiz Quintero, although it's a different approach. It's really the joy of using his body together with a machine, being it the car, being it the bike, being it the skate, but also using his body as a very efficient functioning fleshy machine, without making, you know, this distinction between robots and humans, but really trying to combine the machine and the body. And here actually he is doing the performance, and someone is filming this performance.
Yes, here you see Sean Gladwell. He's living in the bush in Australia, so in a very desertic part of this country. And he's here working with his own body. He's climbing on the roof or the no roof, because it's nearly a convertible car, of a very special car he created himself. It is a very powerful one with 2 engines. Very special machine in the tradition of monster machine, muscle machines, muscle cars, inspired by movies as Mad Max. Maybe you remember this movie. This movie was released in Australia. The fact that the movie is present in a Slough partition gives to it a very special density. We have time to see the body working. We have time also to make inside ourselves inner images, and to convoke also a lot of very primal and ancient references to the first body, to the matrix, to the change of situation which is making life possible, the necessity to be first inside the matrix and then to get out the matrix, and the way that we have to confront the reality. We have to confront the material reality, the symbolic reality, our situation in the cosmic situation of the world too.
Yes, in some way this image that we are seeing reminds me very closely of this fantastic photography by Gina Pane, which is called Sky Earth Artist or Sky Artist Earth. I don't remember exactly, but with this notion that you have the sky.
The real title is Ideal Position, Earth Artist Sky.
Okay, so...
Excuse me.
No, thank you.
Because it's about the ideal position.
The ideal position of the artist being with his feet on earth and his head in the sky. And Sean Gladwell has done other works where he is in this position with, standing with the arms open. And there are obviously 2 possible interpretations of this position. Sean Gladwell usually talks about, again, I'm going to need your help. How is called The Man by Leonardo Vinci?
Vitruve.
The man of Vitruve, and others can see obviously a Christic position in these arms open, and recall this movie called le film où il est sur la locomotive.
Runaway Train by Konchalovsky.
Ouais. Runaway.
At the end of this movie.
Yes, train. This idea of the man facing the world, embracing the world and the cosmos. The other thing that Paul just mentioned, and we've been talking about this uterine aspect of the water before, but Sean Gladwell, who also is a great biker, makes this difference between the car as being the uterine vehicle from which you enter, and from which you exit, while the bike has a much more undefined sexual character. It's both phallic and feminine, but the car being this uterus from which you have indeed to exit. And here you see that he likes to actually make films where you see the same event at dawn and at dusk, during the day and at night, to give again this impression of time, of the circulation of time between night and day, which increases the great feeling of symbolism that is in this artwork. And what's also very great in terms of the image is that you see him only from the back, but you really feel the concentration of the body. If you look at the body at the back of the performer, you can feel physically the amount of concentration that what he does really requires.
As you see, a lot of videos we are presented tonight are involved with the question of resistance, as Barbara said, and also with the question of the position of the body. To live with consciously, to live is to be sure to be in a position. But we feel through these different videos that it's very difficult today to find our position. Where are we to be? We have to be somewhere. We are somewhere, but where is the good place? Is there a place for us on this earth, in this world, in this very large world? So a lot of videos tonight that we are presenting are in concern with this question in a parabolic way. The expression is very metaphoric. It is as metaphorical as it is true. We see the resistance, we see the body working, and we feel that this work of the body is also dedicated to find the position, not only the true position, but also to find the volunteer is to find the symbolic position. It's not possible to get a correct life, a life with joy, without to be sure about the symbolic position we occupy in space and in time, both. We see that here, I feel, or me, I see that, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know.
No, I'm sure you're very right, and the question of incarnation is obviously essential, because where is our position in life? It's obviously in our body, and how can we incarnate it so that life becomes possible for us? The next video we are going to see is again from an artist who has been representing Belgium in the Venice Biennale some 3 years ago, and it's an artist that Polla Ardenne actually has already shown before and knows really well, and I think you'd like to introduce Angel Vergara.
Yes, Angel Vergara. He was born in Spain in 1958, and now he is living in Brussels, in Belgium. He's a very, very difficult. It's difficult to say what kind of artist he is exactly, because he is using a lot of different medium. So, as here video, but also drawing, but also painting, but also installation. So, the work of Angel Vergara, which is present here, is called Two Bodies in Love. Two Bodies in Love. Deux corps amoureux in Belge, in French, French language. And as you see, you are in front of a very bizarre situation. Two naked bodies under, comment on dit un drap?
Under a sheet.
Oui.
A sheet, yes?
Yes, like nearly like ghosts, but they are no ghosts because they are fleshy. There is flesh here. Are making love discreetly but surely, and at the same time they are drawing why they have this very deep sensation. We presume they are deep. So they are at the same time they are busy for love and busy for drawing, with a lot of you imagine of different intensities. So the work in a larger way to present Angel Vergara. His work is always in relationship with the question of time in general, but also historical time. He's coming from Spain, and it's not a surprise because he belongs to this generation, which is one of the children of people who had known the dictatorship of General Franco, Franquism period in Spain. It was very heavy. It was very authoritarian. So, in the work of Angel Vergara, in this one and in a lot of other ones, there is always this question of not especially the liberation of the body, of the mind, of ourselves in general, but how the question may be how to live in a free way. What is permitted? What do we want exactly to be? Another thing is a very strong relation with time, again, here. He is an artist who is always taking his time, and especially in his videos. Here and in other one, especially the one he has presented in Venice Biennale, where he was confusing personal perception and sensation of present time and images of history, of recent history. Now another video by Petra Inanen. It's a Finnish artist.
Can go.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's here?
No, I don't think Petra is here.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
I give you the microphone.
Yeah, the idea to show this video by Petra Inanen, you can go with the image. After that of Angel Vergara, I think is quite obvious, because it's like, you know, again, three bodies in one. It's very different in the style. It's funny, but it's this interaction hidden, you know, with the images of the tattoo, which actually become real as what we, you know, all what we imagine was happening behind this sheet. He now sees it on his arms and is having you know, direct interaction with his tattoos becoming live. Very short but very fun video. And the next video, you can go on, is a sweet movie by Jan Ijas. And I told you that we are actually not going to show sex among the videos of joy we're showing. Although, I mean, Angel Vergara, we didn't see anything, but we could imagine everything we really wanted behind this sheet in terms of love interaction. Now, what Jan Ijas says about sweet movie is that they are people on their own in front of a camera who are doing moves that simulate sex. So it's actually the idea to exercise for sex or to simulate sex, but alone, on your own, in your room, and to get filmed. And this is obviously today a way of exploring the potential of the body that a lot of teenager, but also more mature adults or even elderly people do. And I think it's very interesting to see how real this actually looks while it's obviously simulated, and a play that the characters are doing with themselves. And it gives again an idea of the loneliness, because you have, a woman and a man, but they are, each of them is in their own room and alone, and they are just practicing a sort of mechanics of what love could be, which obviously is much more looking like sport than like sex or love. Or maybe it does look like sex, but certainly not love. Besides, it's actually love for your own body and its possibilities. And maybe I should tell you more about Jan Ishes. He's born in 1975, and he's actually doing both photography and video, filmmaker and media artists. And he's still really young, but his work has already been shown a lot around Finland, at least, but not yet at very much at an international level. So I think we should follow up with him. I don't think he's here either tonight, or is he?
No, he's not here.
Huh?
I'm Hanna from Ardenne. Nice to meet you all.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
So
So,
I didn't.
okay. Great that you're here, and you're going to comment afterwards.
Yes, but the important thing about this piece is that all the material is off the internet. So the people are actually looking for a really big audience, even though they are performing alone. So this is like a sub-genre of
On YouTube?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh.
I think this might be from a special site, People looking for a certain kind of attention. But Jan has taken all of this from the internet, so we
But-
didn't get it from the people, he took it.
But Jan is that's not you.
No,
No.
I distribute his work.
Oh, okay,
Ah,
you're
okay.
the distributor. Okay. Okay, great.
No, Jan is a man.
Yes, that's what I thought, but I didn't understand what you said to start on, so I thought maybe Jan in Finnish is actually a woman. And
Now,
excuse me.
oh yes, I take the
Yes, please.
the microphone now. Just a minute. I don't want to disturb you while you are looking at the image. We have again a video by Ali Kazma, the Turkish videoist. Here, this video, the title is Dancer, and it is a video where Ali Kazma is working with an Icelandic company, dance company, the one of Erna Omarsdorfstir.
It's nearly as impossible to pronounce as Finnish names for ourselves. And actually this afternoon I had a meeting with Mina Suoniemi, and we looked at this video by Ali Kazma because there are a lot of parallels in her work and in this video about the jumping, the dance, the noise. She's been filming a lot of the noise that women are able to actually generate. And one of her last movies called the Wolf and the Red Cap, but it's actually the girl who makes the noise of the wolf just by screaming, and it's quite impressive. And you can turn the sound up, yeah. And you can see how, the working of the body in that case for these dancers is actually let's listen.
Kill evil spirits that are possessing the modern man. You're ugly, great shame, evil, empty spirit. A secret multi-brained monster reincarnates. We were nasty, we were ugly, without shame, without feelings. Killed her. Everything else is gone. And now we're also gone. Empty. empty earth and its ghosts.
The scenographer is having a lot of fun of watching her students, and this play is actually called Teach Us to Outgrow Our Madness. And you see in alternance the dancers in the studio working and then playing this play, which is called Out of the Blue. And the joy of playing with the body is really very, very obvious.
Of course, there is a lot of things to say about the theatrical attitude, especially today, because postmodernism theater is quite different if you compare it with modernist tradition of theater. You remember that for the modern, to play a role was something very ambiguous. So very often the choice was not to play, or to play while giving the impression that you were not playing a role. So and now there is a new, very new relationship with the body to let it express, to be more, not especially to be more free, but to be, as we say in English, to be in it. It's very important, this concept of, I don't know, the in it concept. It's a very contemporary concept. It's very difficult in our societies to be in it because of a lot of constraints, because of a lot of forbidden situation. To be in it, it's maybe the solution. It's what is searched here, I feel.
So in it is actually the title of a book written by, a book by Ali Kazma and Polla. To be in it is a very important concept for Ali Kazma, as much as resistance is. And here is really the body is incarnated with extreme joy and pleasure to play. And to, disguise itself and to go to the limits of the potentials of expression. But this is also somehow, yes, excuse me.
No, I just wanted to say that antique theater was a catharsistic one. Modern theater did not want to be catharsistic, and now we are beyond catharsis. Yeah. Catharsis is no more a problem. It's no more a question. It's no more a strategy in theater.
And after this video by Ali Kazma, we're going to come back to Finnish artist, and her name is Jenny Hiltunen, and she's actually also working on the body in a way, very powerful characters actually. And
it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. And you will see also raising our smiles when we look at it, because it's both constructed and real at the same time, and it is very academic and very fleshy, like a kaleidoscope. You feel you're looking at a kaleidoscope, and it's actually from her video that we choose the image to announce this video forever. You're not really sure if you see a real body or is it just an image, a made-up image. It very much challenges the concept of what is sexy and what is not, in terms of the amount of flesh, the way it moves, and suddenly cellulitis looks extremely aesthetic and interesting. This was my favorite image of the whole everything we showed you. This kaleidoscope in white and beige, that this sort of transformed body makes an abstract image.
Yes, I wanted to speak about abstraction and about the fact that it's not possible to consider abstraction without consider at the same time the real. So we are always hesitating between the two. We are always circulating
In between. Yeah.
in between. And maybe this in between, it is art. It is.
It is.
And now,
Last but
the last one.
Yes, last but not least, Santtu Koivu, born in 1980, so the youngest artist of tonight, and Polla Ardenne has chosen this video to show at the end. Cloudy sky and a low horizon in the background. A man's hands are moving faster and faster at full speed for as long as he can. This is what the artists, what Santu Koivu writes about this video. Why did you choose this as the last one?
I don't know.
Sure.
No, I don't know. Well, maybe because it's as metaphorical as it is real. Because it is a gesture which is stupid as it is necessary to keep oneself in good health. I don't know. Maybe because I have some problems to make sport since several years. I'm always looking people who are moving their bodies with a great admiration. For instance, sportmen or ordinary men, maybe as this man. I don't know.
And the video is actually called Freestyle Swimming, which is, I mean, quite surrealistic. Maybe here we were not between abstraction and real, but really in the surreal, thanks to our Benjamin artist. So thank you very much, and we'd be delighted to discuss with you all of what we saw and we didn't see.
Well, thank you to you. Just precision, of course, it's a selection. It's not an overview, a complete overview about what is today. Actually, the question of representation of the contemporary body by contemporary art in video. Of course, we did a choice, but you have to go on to make some researches and to go further to see what exactly is the contemporary body. But we have to know also that the good things, the good new is that it's impossible to define it exactly today. It's very, very difficult. It's like a challenge, and for me it's a good thing. Why? Because during all the authoritarian periods of history, it was very easy to define what was the body, and for me it's a very, very good thing that it is impossible to define it. Something to add, Barbara?
Yes, thank you very much. And let's have a few drinks maybe now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.